Okay, now I'm live. Now I'm live. Oh, Lordy. About goofed up a second ago. About goofed up. Hopefully, people will catch this stream and hope I don't have two streams going at the same time. May have to double check that. Let me let me say, hey, Jamie, I'm about goofed up this morning. About goofed up. My, didn't have my camera settings right. Actually, didn't have the Wi-Fi cut on, so it was screwing up my camera there. Easy to do, easy to do. But about goofed up on this chilly morning up here at the shop. Hey, Patrick, how are you? Hope you're doing okay and everything. I'm trying to get the old computer going here this morning. Getting me going this morning too. Hard getting stimulated on these cold days. Hey, Mac, how are you? Hey, good morning, Chris. Good morning, Chris. Yeah, I'm just sitting up here in the shop with my little foot warmer running because it's chilly. Yep, I had to give that strong arm air from Mac. Uh, well, my week's been pretty good. I've been on my big track hoe. My I got a big Cato 550, about I guess like a Caterpillar 320 or something, maybe a little bit bigger than that. Pretty good size track hoe. It's got a inline 6-cylinder diesel engine in it, and pretty good size machine, older machine that I've had for. Well, I had it for several years. I bought it off the city, bought it off a guy that had bought it from the city of Gastonia. Uh, it was a unit that the box had actually caught on fire on it, and then they sold it off, and I got it and I ran it for a number of years and rebuilt the pin on it and a couple other things on the boom. But it's an old machine. It's probably I'd say an 85 model Cato 550. Strong engine though. Doesn't have a ton of hours on the engine, and uh, I've been using it. But I mean, it's sloppy. It's got a sloppy bucket, and it's everything else. But it's a unit that I bought for the price of an old tractor. I mean, I gave $7,500 for it, and you can't buy a good old used tractor for that. And I didn't feel like I'd got hurt. And like I said, I actually bought it. Well, I originally bought it for more than that. Sold it to a friend for that, and then after he passed away, I bought it back from his wife, and got her some money back out of it, and uh, I bought it and was happy to get it back and use it and everything. Oh, what? Oh, that's my Dixie chopper. That's my Dixie chopper mower, Chris. That's I've been working on it too. We're having a clutch issue with it. I don't know if anybody out there's had clutch issues with stuff. We put a new clutch on it, and of course it's got the magnetic type clutch. And as soon as it engages, and we throw the mower on, it slows down. So the clutch isn't staying in good. Yeah, yeah. That machine. Uh, let me take you over there. That it has a Caterpillar. My volume's probably good now, but it has a Caterpillar, as you'll see, 3-cylinder diesel, it is a house. It is a house of a lawnmower. So yeah, it's pretty neat. So it does it does a lot of work. It when it runs really good. I don't have many hours on it. I got some other stuff and quit using it as much. And after that clutch went out, I kind of set it to the side, and I decided I need to get that thing back running again. Let me get my camera situated there. Uh, uh, the spindle on the back, the clutch on the back of the motor is not locking in. It doesn't have a clutch on the deck. It's the other words, when you throw, it's got a huge 174-inch long belt that goes down. It's on the back of the motor. It goes down to a pulley down there, and then goes underneath the mower, and then goes up to the mowing deck, which also has a big pulley too. And when it used to be, it would engage and engage strong, and now it engages and it won't engage strong, and that's the problem. It's magnetic. Yeah, yeah, it bogs down. Well, it doesn't bog down the motor. It just the mower just quits turning. It's not bogging down the motor. Motor's got plenty of strength. You can still turn the motor up and it'll run, but the mower, it's the mowing deck slows down. So that's the problem. Yeah, I know it. I think this one I got a bad one or something. Hey, Roadrunner. Yeah. Uh, yeah, it seems to be that, Chris. Yeah, it's like an AC compressor. It just locks in and stays in supposedly. Although this one's not locking in, and that aggravates me. And that's what we put new belts on it because the belts had some points that looked like it slipped, and I put two expensive belts on it. That 174-inch belt was not cheap, but I'm just still having. Yeah, it keeps it interesting. It keeps us working, and I'm probably just going to break down and buy me another clutch, although that's expensive. It's about $300 clutch, and but I want it to work, so I'm not going to let $300 stand in my way of not getting it back in tip top shape, and that's what I want. And but it is what it is. I've had to buy new tires for it. I just put new tires on it, and I had to put new tires and rims. Oh no, it's no warranty. That machine's 10, 12 years old now. It's a great machine though. Like I have 120 hours on it probably, so you can tell. It's been under a shed. It's not been out in the open or anything, so it's not in bad shape. Of course, the seat kind of got worn and it got some cracks in it. I recovered the seat and that sort of stuff, but it's definitely out of warranty. That's for certain. And plus, Dixie Chopper got sold and everything like that too. So it's a whole different mess of situations. Well, we finally what we did. Now that's the one I had the problems with the tire bead. We actually had to buy some inner tubes. We had to buy some inner tubes for it. That's what we had to do. And that's basically all you can. When those things are that wide, they won't. You can't get it. The tire. Like I said, I got two of those air blasters, you know, for the big truck tires and everything. It still wouldn't work on that. That was really weird. So I basically went out and bought 2 inner tubes. We put the inner tubes in it and boom, popped it right up. No, I can't. I haven't seen a generic clutch, you know, everything, but the factory clutch is expensive. But yeah, I wish I could get a generic clutch for it because it's not that fancy looking. You know, it's just a magnetic clutch, and you know, it's off and on. That's basically it. I don't see any kind of adjustment, although we did tighten it down a little bit to see if that would help, and it didn't. So it you know, it is what it is. I'm gonna probably have to just see if I can't get another one. If y'all guys out there know of anything, let me know. But it's a Dixie chopper with a three-cylinder diesel engine on it. $199 on Amazon. $109.99. Where'd you find? Send me a link to that if you found that, Chris. If you found see if you can type in a link. I'll definitely buy it on Amazon if I can get that. Yeah, send me a link right now. If you found one you think that'll work, and it'll work for a 3-cylinder diesel. If it for 109, that's way better than the one on Dixie Chopper, because now it's got to be one for that big diesel engine. Now, I hope you're coming up with the same one, but I'll check it out. I'll definitely check it out because I need a clutch for it. That's for sure. Yeah, and I'm not afraid to. It's like the belts from Dixie Chopper was going to be really expensive. And I had a friend of mine that owns a lawnmower shop, and he gave me a link to a company that makes generic belts. And I got 2 belts well, actually I bought 4. I bought 2 in case I mess these up. And those 4 were cheaper than half as cheap as one on from Dixie Chopper. And they were out of stock anyway. Yeah, I'd see. Now it's the belt on that, the clutch belt on this thing. Let me get the belt right quick. These belts are extremely wide. Here's the belt. Oh, me. As you see how long it is. But it's I want to say a 1 inch. It's a big belt, big thick belt. So if it'll fit that, yeah. This I'll have to check it out and see what you found, Chris. Yeah, I know it, and that's the thing about it. You got to have that special pulley to make that one work, because and that's where you get hung to those situations where you have to get one from the factory sometimes, because nobody else will carry that kind of clutch. But I could use one, that's for certain. But send me that link. I'll try to match it up and see if it'll work, because anything's better than what I've got right now. I mean, like I said, right now I've got one that just slows down to nothing. It engaged, and then it kind of loses its magnetism or something. I don't know what it's doing, but it's not. I mean, as soon as you turn it on, it'll run, then it'll speed up a little bit, and as soon as you hit a blade of grass, it slows down to nothing. So it's doing me nothing. And I know what it used to sound like, and it used to really be a powerful mower. And right now that clutch is not letting it do its job at all. So I definitely need to find a new clutch. That's for certain. And I may have to go up to my buddy that owns a lawnmower shop and see if he knows where I can get a generic clutch, because that clutch, it won't stay engaged. And that's it. But that's life in the fast lane here. But I've been busy this week. Like I said, we've worked on that a little bit. We've got it back together, but we're going to have to, like I said, the clutch seems to be the issue now, but we'll get it. And I'm working on my landscape, and I got all these stumps around here that I cut off all the timber, and the stumps and the tree limbs and everything else going down my road. I want to get rid of those, and I can't burn them now because we're in a burning ban here in North Carolina. North Carolina is so dry. I mean, we hadn't had rain here in months. I mean, really. I mean, we're way low on the dryness part. I mean, we're in drought situation. I mean, and all burning. You know, there's a burning ban all over the state. I mean, if I start a fire now, I'd get arrested for sure. So I can't burn any of this wood. So what I'm doing is just digging some holes with the big track hoe. And for right now, I'm getting the dirt and getting me a little borrow pit and crushing those stumps down and putting them down in the ground. And it's in a pasture, so it's not going to matter to me. And, you know, just crushing them and stomping on them real good and putting dirt back on them and letting it be done. Just re-landscaping that. Now, if somebody ever built a house out there, they might fuss at me for having all those stumps. But for right now, they'll rot away, and I'll just have to keep watching where I buried those stumps, making sure that I get that compacted over the years. Oh, okay. You sent one to my cell phone. Okay. Let me see. You must have sent it to that cell phone. Which cell phone did you send it to? The one that ended in 4560? Did you send it to that one, Chris, or which one did you, or did you send it to one with 5563? Okay, so you sent it to the 4560. All right, that's the one I'm actually using the camera off of, so I can't check that one, but I'll check it when I get off. Oh, you're gonna see right now? See which phone number. Just give me the last 4 digits on it. Hey, Joy. Well, I know where you been the last 30 minutes. 4560. Okay, yeah, that's the one with the camera. Okay, I have to check that when I get offline. Where you been hiding out, Joey? Yeah. Yeah, that eating your food. Okay. Oh, you DoorDash. Okay, DoorDash. You mean you're too lazy to go out there and get it yourself? You gotta have somebody to. I have never used one of those services because we're out in the country here. We're kind of away from that stuff. But I've never used a DoorDash or what's the other one, Grubhub or something. I don't know. I haven't used those services yet, and I've only used a what's the taxi service. I've only used that one time, and I felt uncomfortable with that. I'm just getting into an individual's car. I just didn't. I don't know. It just wasn't. I know that yellow cabs are, at least they're regulated or whatever. I just didn't. I just felt a little bit weird with that. Lyft or yeah, Uber. Yeah, that's what it was. Uber. Yeah, yeah. It's well, that's right. I live in. Yeah, Jamie saw the city of Cherryville. Yeah, it's a big old city, isn't it, Jamie? I took him around the whole town. Took us about 20, 30 minutes. We went completely around town, and it wasn't very big at all. 5,000 5,000 people in our town, or 5,200. They say one person to make. We got 5,000 people, or the same as a mile of people. That's what they call it. No, I feel like I do when I'm paying taxes, Joey. I feel like I'm paying taxes on half the town. But no, most of my land is actually out right outside the city limits. Where I live and where my shops are outside. The only ones inside city limits is where the old Napa store is. Uh, yeah, that's the only difference. Over there, over at Napa, uh, now that's I got 8 acres inside the city limits, 8 acres and the two buildings, and I'm paying pretty high taxes on that. But it is what it is. No, unfortunately, Malcolm got defeated. Uh, there was enough. The problem is we had two issues going around town. We got one about the mine. Some people are upset, the lithium mine, and then the other one was the museum. And some of them wanted change. You know how it is when people want change, and he had enough campaigning. It was a tough fight, uh, and he lost by about 60 votes. And it's not a lot, but it is what it is. Yeah, I know. A change is not always better, and that's the problem. Like I said, there was enough uh, disturbance about that museum situation uh, that they had a lot of people stirred up, and they thought, well, we'll get him out. And there was some crazies with the museum that were campaigning against him, and that hurt him. Yeah, well, and it sometimes that's the truth, Chris. Sometimes that's the truth that uh, we we know what even on presidential elections and everything else, we uh, we changed this last time, and I don't think I think people would like to change back to be able to get hear some mean tweets and get lower diesel fuel prices. I know I'd like to. I wish diesel fuel and the fuel and the economy would turn back around. Our economy sucks right now, and you probably know that with the cost of. Uh, I don't know what metals. How's scrap metal doing now, Chris? Are prices down on it, or is it doing pretty good? Yeah, well, and that's the same thing here. Uh, Taxes went up because inflation, pushed everything up, all the groceries, everything, and they're never going to come down. I mean, anybody with any age on them, like myself, knows that when these prices, if prices of mayonnaise and eggs go up, they go up and they stay up. Either that or they'll give you the same thing with less product. I mean, I've seen people complaining online about that. They were complaining that what was it? The Oreo cookies. They're complaining now that they're not putting enough white stuff in between the two Oreo cookie wafers. That they've cut back on that, and people are saying that the size of different cookies and stuff like that have gotten smaller, and they keep selling you the same product, uh, and maybe edge up the price, making the product smaller. Yeah, yeah, 16 ounces is now 12 ounces. That's about what we got. Hey, Walter, scrap metal prices are low there, and including junk cars, huh? Yeah, yeah, yeah. They don't have the double stuff. The double stuff's down to single stuff, isn't it? Yeah. Hey, Jerome, how are you? Yeah, it's yeah, inflation is killing the average person, and we'll see how, if inflation hurts enough next year on the ballot box. Uh, the only thing we want to make sure they don't do is stuff the ballot box and inflate it. Yep, that's true. We'll know in about a year if we're screwed forever, because it's going to be. We've got to turn some things back around. I mean, we know what it was like. We know what it was like 4 years ago, and if your life was a lot better then, which mine was in so many ways, uh, yeah, I would love to go back 4 or 5 years, health wise and everything else for me. Um, I mean, I've had a lot of changes in the past 3 years. I mean, a lot, and a lot not for the best too. Yeah, well, that's good, Jerome. That's good. How's things out there on your market, Jerome? I know if you're running the spot market and everything, it's tough to get loads nowadays. I'm hearing. I don't know. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right, Jeff. The car prices are going up. Uh, yeah. Well, it's crazy. Well, unfortunately, unless they're just voting for a figurehead, they need to get somebody that actually runs the country. You can't see Jerome or Jeff. You don't see them on your screen. Hmm. Yeah. Well, Jeff doesn't have a icon, but Jerome does. Yeah. Oh, are they throwing in commercials live? I didn't know it did that on live screen. I Good gosh, I didn't know they interrupted my live broadcast for a commercial. Well, see, I'm hung. I'm monetized now. Maybe I need to cut that off on the live broadcast. I didn't know that did that. There's a setting I can cut that off. Daggum, I didn't know that at all. I'm sorry, guys. If I'd known that, I would have clicked that box. I mean, there's a box that I can click on that. I don't want my live broadcast interrupted on a commercial. Wow, I didn't know that. Guys, I will cut that off. I'm glad y'all told me that, because I don't mind it being on the rebroadcast. That's fine, but on the live broadcast, if it's throwing commercials in there, I'm gonna stop that, because I don't want that to happen at all. Yeah, I'm making big coin. I can tell you. That's why I said I can afford to cut that off during the live broadcast. I can, trust me, because the big coin ain't there. Yeah, I know it. It sure could. I mean, like I said, I didn't know it did that. And plus, on the live broadcast, to me, I'm gonna lose viewers too if it does it on the live. Because I mean, I know somebody will probably break away. If it breaks away, they may just go off. I don't know that. I did not know that at all. I will see to it that the next live broadcast that I don't put any kind of monetization on it until after the live. yeah, yeah. You're like me, Chris. I get $100 ever so often, and but I don't like I said it's pesos. I don't get a lot. I'm not up there where I'm getting 25,000 views a day and or 50,000. If I was up there getting that, then I would be happy probably because I'd get some chips. Yeah, I mean it's neat to get it a little bit of monetization and everything, but I didn't know. I don't mind it doing it on a broadcast that I record, but I didn't know it did it on the live like that. I might start turning that off on the live because I don't want that disrupted with the commercials as we're going on. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you told me that, Chris. I did not know that. And that will be turned off from now on. That's a turn off. Let me see if I can do a thumbs down. What does it do for a thumbs down? I don't know what it does. What does YouTube do? I mean, Apple do. Thumbs down. Okay. Of course, I know what it does for that. Wait a minute. Now give me two thumbs up. Yay. and oh, okay. So it went back and monetized so that you probably made more money off your old stuff than you did your new at one time. I don't know what the news in FedEx. I've been getting a couple of emails and chats and everything else from different guys. Whereas in some locations, one guy said they actually laid off the FedEx Express people and then had to come back a couple of months later and hire them back because it wasn't working out on the transition. And I would imagine this transition is going to take a while. I mean, they'll probably get it done, and they may have to have a be like some of these cars out there, have a hybrid model, have in one location one and one location another. It's not going to be a complete cutoff and switch. I don't think FedEx is going to be so dumb that they would do that. So you know, I can understand that, but I'm still going to have to cut off that monetization on live. I did not know it did that. That disturbs me because that something happened that I didn't really mean to happen. And when it's out of your control, you kind of go it kind of puts a put a squelch on the on going live and everything like that because I don't want it to disrupt somebody for a 30-second commercial or whatever. Yeah. No, I don't winder or wonder. Autocorrect got you, did it, Chris? I hate it when I type something and it just switches something on me right quick, and you have to retype it there. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna have to I'll have to switch off on that for sure. But yeah, because I think I can afford to lose the pesos that it's going to pay for a live chat there. Like I said, now a replay of the live chat, it doesn't bother me. Yeah, it's the same way with maps and everything. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of there's a lot of young people that have the disadvantage of not understanding maps or even how to quadrant off a city when they come into it. I mean, they they ought to. I mean, every town that I've ever been in, I've got a mental visualization of how the town should be laid out. And even if I've never been in the town before, I've always been able to quadrant it out the way a map quadrants things out and kind of generally figure out where I should be going. And it never has failed me in my all my years as driving a truck and everything. And today's GPS has really dumbed it down for people. I don't think they have the the visualization of what it should look like on a map. They're just looking at those coordinates and they're following whatever it tells them to go to. And I've always thought that you've got to visualize what the layout of the land should look like before you proceed in that area. And GPS, like I said, has dumbed it down for so badly. If somebody were to lose their GPS after being somewhere, I mean, they would be totally lost if they had no concept of how a map works. Yeah, and digital clocks too. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of young people. You show them an analog clock, and it's it's just mind-boggling to them. They have no concept of what time it is when they look at a analog clock. And I love the looks of an analog clock. I think they're pretty, and just it is what it is. And touch tone and rotary dial phones, they'd get lost with that too. Yeah, yeah. That's for certain on counting change. Anybody's had the misfortune of having to go to uh, a McDonald's or a Wendy's or something, and somebody tells you what you've got, and they say, $11.37, and you say, well, here, let me give you 12. You even it out with other bills, and it just blows their mind. They have no concept of how to do that, and so it just it blows people's mind if you add in something to it. They don't know how to do it. They only know how to give the correct change out of the machine. Yeah, yeah. I like analog clocks. I have my iPhone when I put it in the charger at night. Actually, when I turn it on the side and everything with the new iOS and everything, I don't know if anybody else is doing that, but you can turn it on its side, and if you got it set up, it turns into an analog clock, which I like. It looks pretty nice. Yeah, yep. Between that and having everybody stoned, that's for certain, Jamie. Yeah, there's too many stoned employees out there now, aren't there? I mean, they say Walmart's and Lowe's and Home Depots and everything, they have a hard time of getting people drug tested nowadays. It's going to get to the point where they're just going to quit drug testing people because so many of them come back positive for marijuana and stuff. Oh, I know it. I just, well, they don't have it legalized down here for anything. So they're not smoking weed down here like that. Thank goodness. Um, it's crazy. It's crazy. Uh, hey, Barry, how are you? I know I hadn't checked it for the Ohms to see what it's doing. 2 to 4 ohms. Yeah. Well, I believe the clutch is DOA, but yeah, I need to check it because I mean, it will engage it, but then it's losing something. So or you see Barry's comment. Are you not seeing all the comments, Chris? Yeah. Well, I tell you, it's getting to be a weird world out there when we're wanting to have proficiency. I mean, what are we going to do it when we got our doctors and our truck drivers and everybody we're expecting to do things right, doped up out there. I don't know. Yeah, and that's going to happen. That's going to happen, and we're going to have a doped up society out there. I mean, you're going to go to the hospital one day and the technicians are going to be so strung out. You're going to be worried if you're going to be killed in a hospital. I mean, it's crazy. Or if you're unfortunately, if you get my age, or if you're in a rest home or something, somebody's going to give you the wrong drug and kill you. Uh, these things are what can happen. Yeah. Well, and those kind of things too are going to happen. I mean, they're going to find a way to wiggle out our rights and 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 take away our safety. Uh, it's a tough situation. We are definitely in a unforgiving times right now. I mean, I don't like it one bit, and I don't know what we can do about it. We can try to vote it out, but we're not voting it out quick enough, and we're not given the opportunity to get the type people I want in there. It seems like uh, I don't know what we're going to do. I guess it's going to hell in a handbasket, isn't it? I mean, it's not a fun time to see the way the United States is going and the way society is going right now. Yeah, well, fortunately for me, well, I mean for everybody in the trucking industry, they are still requiring drug tests, and you'd be surprised of the ones that you wouldn't think that are taking drugs will come back positive on a drug test. I mean, I had this guy that I could have sworn that he was clean cut as he could be, applied for a job and everything else. And it wasn't what he was doing presently, but his background came back where he had turned down or failed a couple of drug tests. And he looked as clean cut as anybody. And it just blew me away that guy was that way. And when I told him, he said, yeah, he said, I was hoping that wouldn't show up. I said, nope. I said, when they do a background check, they do a background check. And he didn't tell me that he had failed a drug test a few years before. And once you fail it and it goes on your record, it's on your record. And like I said, of course, it's going to get to a point where that's not going to matter as much anymore, too. So, and I really feel like you ought to give somebody a second chance. I mean, if a guy had that on his record 5 years ago, at some point it needs to drop off if he's not been convicted for that again, and if he passes drug tests and clean and everything, and that was sort of this guy's case. That was one of those things that it was a black mark and it wasn't going to go away. Yeah, yeah. That was a situation where this guy he needed a second chance because I think it'd been like 5 years, and he had failed. He said he it was sort of innocent. He was out and partying. He was going through a divorce and was out partying and smoked a couple of smoked some weed, and then he went back and had to take a random drug test the next week where he worked, and it showed up, and he got fired, and that was a bad situation. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's a crazy situation, and we're seeing more and more of it. I know Jamie and I talked about it. Uh, Jamie came to visit me a month or so ago, and Jamie and I have talked about it a couple times about how hard it is to hire employees, and so many of them come back with drug problems. Uh, so it is tough, very tough out there. Yeah, yeah. I guess it didn't. You're going to have a P test. You better study for it. Yeah, that's a tough situation. Tough situation. But I hope the Arkansas is 50%. Oh, I know it. I know it. They are. They're like that in West Virginia, Arkansas, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, all over. I mean, it's the these labs are working round the clock. It seems like kicking out results. I mean, and and the random test comes so frequently now. It's pathetic. I mean, it's got to the point now, instead of it being just a random pick this employee type thing, FedEx at one point down there, they were getting everybody that came through. I mean, I mean, it was like you coming through the door, you're going to do a drug test. When the drivers came in, uh, when they came in with their loads, they were drug testing everybody that came through the door. They were going to eliminate 99.9% of them that way. Yep, that's right. The holidays, and I just got my wife, Barbara. Her birthday was yesterday, so we celebrated Barbara's birthday yesterday. So we had our children were in, and except for our grandson, he's still at college. So all of our children were in, and came over, and we had a good celebration for Barbara. And I told her she couldn't turn the candles around to read 17. She had to flip them back around to read the right age. Uh, but she looks good for 71, I think. I think she looks a young 71, still gets out and about, and uh, she and I try our best. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I don't feel my age until I try to do something I can't do anymore. Then I feel my age. But when I'm just walking around doing my regular thing, I feel normal. But the old body's wearing out. That's for sure. I can't breathe as good as I used to. Uh, I can't. I can't. I definitely can't walk as far as I used to. That's the biggest issue. I mean, I can walk from here to a piece of equipment, and I'm wore out by the time I get to the piece of equipment. Oh yeah, yeah. You met Barbara. Yeah, she doesn't look 71, does she? No, I don't think so either. She looks good for her age, and um, you know, I'm very very fortunate. We've been married 53 years, and uh, time has flown by for me. I can't believe I'm as old as I am and that we've been married as long as we have. But I'm very, very appreciative of every, every second that I have with her because she's been a great wife. I mean, great wife, partner, lover, friend, and best friend. You know, that's the thing about it. My wife's my best friend, and we enjoy time with each other, and that's the thing about it. And I wish I had another 53 years to go with her, but I know that's not possible. But I'm gonna make the best of what time I have with her, and we're just gonna do what every married couple should do, especially the ones that love each other like we do, and just take care of her and enjoy life. That's it. I mean, I'm enjoying life. We still enjoy working on our farm. We enjoy getting up every day and kind of having a goal to do. We just don't sit around all day. Barbara was saying just a few minutes ago, it's chilly out right now, but she said today's a pretty day to go do some things. So I know she's going to get out in her garden and pull some weeds and do a few things and just tidy up around the house. That's what she likes to do. And she does a nice job. I wish when Jamie was down, I wish the flowers had been blooming to show you how pretty it looked. Right now, all the flowers have died back and everything. But in the springtime and everything, summer, and when we have water, our flowers and our yard looks pretty nice. Then it wasn't in full bloom when Jamie was down, but a lot of times it is, and that's it's amazing how having pretty landscaping and flowers and having things that you like will make you a happier person. Just tidying up in my shop and getting things arranged, and I've been trying to do that, and that makes me feel good when I'm able to arrange things and like I said, tidy up things, and just makes me feel better and that sort of stuff. Well, guys, I am wore out. Gonna head on back down to the house, get away from this little bitty foot heater, and try to get ready and get some things done this next week. Maybe I can take the time to get some video of what I'm doing out there, putting on that new tile, new road, and everything. So y'all take care. Have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll see y'all after Thanksgiving. See you guys.